What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Eric, aka EW Images, back at it with another photo shoot. Happy New Year. In today's photo shoot, we're shooting a trench coat theme shoot, and I have the lovely Olivia with me. So stay tuned, we're gonna shoot multiple looks. Check it out. Quick pro tip, before we start today's shoot, always know where your camera is, because nothing says professional photographer like looking around the studio while the model points out that it's been right there the whole time. Anyway, once my dignity was restored, today's shoot was all about trench coat vibes. Classic, stylish, and just a little bit dramatic, which of course means lighting matters. For the first look, I'm keeping things nice and simple. We've got a white background and the main light is a 36-inch softbox with the 8400 Pro placed in the Rembrandt position just off to the side of our model. This will give us shape, contrast, and a bit of mood. To stop things from feeling flat, I've added a second light, a 1x3 strip box behind the model. This is doing a very important job of adding a subtle hair light and helping separate the model from the background. You might notice the background isn't pure white, and that's not by mistake. Because none of the lights are actually aimed at the background, it falls into a soft gray. That's the inverse square law doing its thing. The light drops off quickly as it moves away from the subject, especially in a small studio space like mine. I did briefly consider adding another light aimed at the background to make it pure white, but after the first test shot, I stopped myself. Sometimes the best decision in photography is knowing when to leave things alone. The gray background adds contrast and keeps the focus on the model, and honestly, I just feel like it looked right with this look. Simple setup, intentional choices, and a result that looks far more complex than it actually is. And that's exactly how I like to work. For the second look, I moved the model onto the sofa, and lighting-wise, I kept things similar. The key light was still in a Rembrandt position, but this time feathered a bit more. This allowed the light to wrap nicely across the body rather than just focusing on the face. The hair light stayed exactly where it was, adding detail to the hair and helping separate the model from the background. Same lights, small adjustments. I felt this setup really highlighted the purse and gave the image kind of a commercial look. I wanted the lighting to be intentional, but not too different from the first look. A simple change in pose and a slight tweak in light, and suddenly the image tells slightly a different story. For the third look, I wanted to take things in a slightly moodier direction. So I swapped out the softbox for the long throw reflector with diffusion as the key light. Compared to the softbox, this gives me a bit more punch and direction, which is perfect when you want to add contrast but not lose control of the scene. I focused mainly on headshots and 3/4 shots here, so I swapped out the 50mm for the 70-200. With tighter framing, every highlight and shadow matters, and this modifier really helps to sculpt the face. For the next look, I took the model off of the sofa, but kept the lighting exactly the same, with a long throw reflector and diffusion as the key light and a 1x3 strip box to bring out texture in the trench coat and help lift the subject off the background without overpowering the scene. While I really liked the images coming from that setup, I wasn't quite done experimenting yet. I wanted to see how far I could push the mood, and specifically, how dark I could get the background. So this time, I flipped the lighting around. I took one of the strip box and placed it overhead using it as the key light. That top-down light instantly adds drama, carves out the face, and helps keep the light from spilling onto the background. Then, to stop things from going completely moody and mysterious, I added a softbox off to the front and side of the model as a fill light. This gives me enough detail in the shadows while letting the background fall into a darker shade of gray. It's a great reminder that you don't always need more power to get a darker background. Sometimes you just need better light placement. Finally, for the last look, I couldn't resist adding a little bit of extra creativity into the mix. This time, I added the projector attachment to the 8400 Pro to throw a pattern on the background. It's a brilliant way to add interest and depth, especially in a small studio space. For the model, I switched to the 8200 in a 1x3 strip box, placed in the Rembrandt position and aimed directly at the subject. That keeps the light clean, controlled, and flattering, while letting the background do something a bit more playful. I really like how this setup came together, and it's definitely one I'll be experimenting more with in the future. And there you have it. Multiple looks, multiple moods, all created in a small studio space. It's not about how big your studio is, it's about how you use the light. Thanks for watching, and until next time, get out there, try something new, and happy shooting.